The fifth generation for the Mercedes-Benz E-Class launched in India in 2017, and this W213 generation is a bit unique for India as it was the first time that Mercedes-Benz brought a long wheelbase version of the car. It was a bit of a gamble for the German automaker, as not just Mercedes-Benz but no other manufacturer had ever tried this before. Did the gamble pay off? We certainly think so, as of today, Mercedes-Benz has retailed over 46,000 E-Class, and what's more, this car contributes to over 30% of Mercedes-Benz sales in India. Well, how do you keep the momentum going? With a facelift, of course. Now, 3 years on, Mercedes-Benz has introduced the 2021 E-Class, and here's everything you need to know about it. The 2021 Mercedes-Benz E-Class facelift can be had with either one of two diesels or one 4-cylinder petrol engine, which is what we are driving in the review today. All three engines are offered only with Mercedes 9G-tronic gearbox, sending power to the rear wheels. There's 3 trim levels: Expression, Exclusive and AMG, last of which is only available to the top spec 350D model. Finally, the E-Class's long wheelbase tag comes courtesy of an added 142 mm in the overall length as compared to the standard wheelbase models sold in many other global markets. The biggest change to the 2021 long wheelbase E-Class is of course the face. The headlamps are now these multi-element LED units and replace the sort of slit eyes ones of the previous vehicle. The grille is new too and very similar to the Pan America shape that Mercedes uses on its more performance-oriented models. Of course, you still get these 2 chrome dual slats and the large Mercedes-Benz logo in the middle. Another noticeable element is this rather large hood with these muscular bulges, which actually looks really good when you're driving the car or you're sitting inside, and you can see the lines following the road as you go along. In profile, nothing much has changed for this long wheelbase E-Class since it was launched in 2017. It's here that you notice the 5-meter length of the car. Highlights here include this nice double spoke 17-inch alloy wheels with grey color and this large ring of chrome, which has sort of become a signature of Mercedes-Benz cars across its range. The biggest change to the rear of this long wheelbase 2021 E-Class is of course the shape of the tail lamps. Gone are the sort of rectangular units that sat on one side of the previous vehicle. Now you get these large wraparound units with their individual LED elements that look really cool, especially when lit up in the dark. Other highlights here include this large chrome strip above the number plate, these chrome exhaust tips, and of course the Mercedes-Benz logo right in the middle. The exterior changes to the E-Class facelift are not those many in number, but whatever has changed has certainly updated the car and given it a sporty appearance. Now, the highlight of the Mercedes-Benz E-Class long wheelbase interiors is of course the rear seat experience. You get an additional 140 mm of space over the standard wheelbase car, all of which is being offered in the back. This means you get lots of headroom and lots of legroom. You can get even more legroom by moving the front seat forward, or rather moving this left passenger seat forward for oodles of additional space. And adding to this luxury experience, you can actually electrically recline the rear seats and lounge in the back just like I'm doing right now. Now, another highlight of this rear seat experience is this tablet running the same MBUX infotainment system. You can control a variety of things like the ambient lighting, the radio stations, as well as media options. Other features here include the center armrest with 2 wireless charging ports. You get central AC vents with their own climate zone and fan speed control. The power seats have 3-step memory function for both the seats, and you get 3 USB ports for charging, but they're all Type-C USB ports, which means that you'd either need to have a cable that has Type-C at both ends, or you'd need to have a converter. This wouldn't be an issue in the future, as Type-C is gaining acceptance quite quickly. While the second row of this long wheelbase E-Class is its USP, The first row isn't a bad place to be either. You get this beige and brown trim with this black wood inserts in the dashboard, the center console and the doors. And this being a Mercedes-Benz, ergonomics and accessibility is quite easily sorted out. Everything falls easily to hand, and while it may seem like that there are a lot of buttons here in this day and age, there's actually a very good reason for that, just that with more number of physical buttons, you'll develop muscle memory for them, which will allow you to access the controls faster and keep your eyes on the road for a longer time, as opposed to hunting for them on the touchscreen. Now, speaking of touchscreen, the highlight of the front is of course this massive, or rather these two massive 12.3-inch displays. This one on the left running the MBUX infotainment system, and this one on the right being the full digital instrument cluster. Now, first let's talk about the instrument cluster. It's a full digital unit. It's extremely comprehensive, HD quality display. And one of the things we really liked about this instrument cluster is that you get 4 different display modes, and these vary depending on what you choose, and basically they are digital interpretations of various Mercedes-Benz instrument clusters from like the last 10-15 years. Now we talk about the infotainment system. This is also a 12.3-inch display running Mercedes-Benz latest MBUX infotainment system. You get all the connectivity options: Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, Wi-Fi connectivity, and it even comes with the option to fit a SIM card where you get 4G connectivity and Wi-Fi within the car. The newest addition to this is that you now get Alexa or Google Home support, which means that you can effectively integrate your long wheelbase E-Class into any future home ecosystem that you have. The benefit of this is simple, that you could speak into one of your home devices for various commands, like saying, start the car, pre-cool the car, and the car would be ready to go by the time you reach your garage or storage area where the car has been kept. One of the other things that you can do with this infotainment system is control some of the other various functions, like in some of the other models there are seat massagers, but here you get to control the ambient lighting, which by the way there's 64 shades of them. You also get a mobile app called Mercedes Me, which is what the tablet at the back is running, and this allows you to control various functions of the infotainment system from your smart device, and this is particularly useful for this car where you will have people sitting at the back in case you haven't taken the tablet. The boot is absolutely massive and can swallow a lot of luggage, as is evident in this shot. The loading lip is not high, and there is even an automatic closing function for the boot that can be accessed via this button on the door. Now, this being a Mercedes in the thick of their range, you get quite a few features on offer depending on the variant. This includes the likes of power door closing function, 3-zone climate control, MBUX infotainment system with Alexa or Google Home integration, 64 shade ambient lighting, seat memory function, and Burmester sound system. All versions of the E-Class get 7 airbags, pre-safe technology, ISOFIX child seat mounting points, ABS with EBD, traction control and ESP. One of our favorites is of course the active brake assist with the Parktronic function, which, as the name suggests, assists you in parking the car if you find a suitable spot. You have to work the accelerator and brake and the car will park itself, a rather useful tool considering the size of this long wheelbase E-Class. The E-Class that we are driving in the video review today is the E200 Petrol, which is powered by a 2-litre 4-cylinder turbo petrol engine producing 192 bhp and 320 Nm of torque. Power is sent to the rear wheels via a Mercedes-Benz 9G-tronic gearbox. The petrol engine is engaging to drive with a nice powerful punch for quick progress. The quick progress comes courtesy of a well sorted out gearing in the 9G-tronic box. There's a minor lag when you mash down, but because there's an ample amount of torque, you can keep the RPMs low and the speeds in 3 digits when you need to cover large distances out on the highway. You can even join in the action and control the shift yourself using the paddle shifters behind the wheel. They are quick to respond and even give you engine braking. Around town and in heavy traffic conditions, Mercedes 9G Tronic box is one of the best out there and usually performs best if it's left to do its thing quietly in the background. It shifts ratios silently and you never feel the need for wanting more punch for a quick overtake. The engine is quite smooth and vibe free with very little coming back into the cabin thanks to the heavy NVH insulation all around. Finally, Mercedes-Benz claims a 0 to 100 kmph time of 7.6 seconds, which is impressive for the car the size of the E-Class long wheelbase. Like the other cars that make use of this engine, the E200 also gets driving modes, 5 of them to be precise: Eco, Comfort, Sport, Sport Plus and Individual. Depending on the mode, you get sharper responses from the throttle, and there are also changes to the way the ESP and traction control respond. Comfort is a best of all mode, while Sport Plus is a useful tool when you are driving in a dynamic manner. Now, with cars like this Mercedes-Benz E-Class, especially in this long wheelbase guys, comfort is the absolute key. You get McPherson struts in front and a multi-link suspension setup at the rear. And the Airmatic suspension, unfortunately, is only available on the top of the line 350D variant. The low speed ride is on the firm side and is quite audible if you are going on a rough patch or particularly large speed breaker. However, it settles down quickly, and this is quite important, especially if you are someone who has got the car to be chauffeured around town. Pick up the speed and the E-Class's ride quality improves significantly, with that underlying firmness showing its true purpose in giving the car stability at higher speeds. There's no getting away from the fact that the E-Class in this long wheelbase guys is a long car with a 5 meter length and 3 meter wheelbase. This, coupled with the ultimate goal of luxury, means it's not the most dynamic car to drive. There's a nice weight to the steering, and if you plan your moves well in advance, you get rewarded with a good driving experience. As is the case with most cars of this size, you get some great straight line stability at 3-digit speeds and can munch up the kilometers without struggling. Updates keep the momentum strong. That's how I'd like to describe the updates that have been given to the 2021 long wheelbase Mercedes-Benz E-Class facelift. Everything that's been added on the inside and outside do well to add to the car's already successful package, and that is not considering that it's the longest car in the segment and offers the most amount of legroom. This then is a good boost for the Mercedes-Benz E-Class among the competition once again. The Mercedes-Benz E-Class range is priced from Rs 63.60 lakh to Rs 80.90 lakh all India ex-showroom. It rivals the likes of the Volvo S90, BMW 5 Series, Audi A6 and the Jaguar XF. For all the details on the Mercedes-Benz E-Class facelift, do visit our website carwale.com. Thank you for watching.